February 11, 2026, global power is shifting at breakneck speed. The world is in flux and the old certainties are dissolving before our eyes. The United States is no longer the only game in town. China has arrived with a new playbook, challenging the established order and rewriting the rules of global engagement. Across Africa and Southeast Asia, Beijing is building influence through investment and partnership, not threats. Roads, railways, and digital networks are springing up, connecting distant regions and binding them closer to China's orbit. Middle powers, Turkey, Saudi Arabia, Australia, are seizing this moment, forging their own paths and alliances. They're no longer content to be bystanders. Instead, they're stepping onto the world stage with new confidence and ambition. No longer content to follow Washington or Brussels, they're leveraging U.S. China competition to advance their interests. These nations are playing both sides, extracting concessions and building coalitions that serve their own agendas. Old alliances are being tested, new ones are forming, and loyalty is up for negotiation. The diplomatic chessboard is being reset, and every move is watched with anticipation and anxiety. The world is becoming more unpredictable, with every nation rethinking its friends and future. Economic ties, security pacts, and even cultural exchanges are all being reconsidered in this new era of uncertainty. The rise of China and assertive middle powers marks the end of U.S. dominance and the start of a complex new era. Power is now more diffuse, and the balance is shifting in ways that were unimaginable just a decade ago. The choices countries make now will shape their security and prosperity for decades. In this scramble for allies, every decision counts, and the world's future is being written in real time. What's a middle power? It's a term you might hear often in international news, but what does it really mean? Think of middle powers as influential regional leaders, not quite superpowers like the United States or China, but definitely not small or insignificant players either. They occupy a unique space in global politics, often acting as bridges between the world's giants and smaller nations. Countries like Australia, Turkey, and Saudi Arabia are classic examples. They have significant economic clout, broad diplomatic reach, and capable militaries. Some, like South Korea or Canada, are also known for their technological innovation or natural resources, adding to their influence. These nations often help stabilize, or sometimes disrupt, their regions. They're key partners for bigger powers, playing vital roles in peacekeeping, conflict resolution, and regional development. The choices middle powers make can tip the balance in global rivalries. Their support or opposition can make or break international agreements, making them highly sought-after allies for both superpowers and smaller states. Today, middle powers are increasingly asserting their own strategic autonomy. They're no longer content to simply follow the lead of the West or any single bloc. They're choosing their own paths and priorities. These countries are diversifying their partnerships, engaging with both Washington and Beijing, and seeking the best deals for themselves. They're pragmatic, often balancing relationships to maximize their own national interests. This growing independence makes them crucial players in a world that's no longer defined by just two sides or a single dominant power. They help shape new alliances and challenge old assumptions. Middle powers are the connectors and swing states in a complex web of shifting allegiances. They can build bridges, broker deals, and sometimes act as mediators in global disputes. Understanding the moves and motivations of these countries is key to predicting the future of global power. Their actions can have ripple effects far beyond their borders. In the emerging world order, the influence of middle powers will be felt as much as that of the traditional giants. They're helping to shape a more multipolar, interconnected, and unpredictable global landscape. Middle powers are making bold moves, especially in Africa and Southeast Asia. Turkey, under Erdogan, is expanding its reach, building airports, mosques, and providing military aid across Africa. Saudi Arabia and the UAE are investing billions in African infrastructure and energy, securing influence and resources. Australia, facing a rising China, is boosting defense ties and offering security partnerships in Southeast Asia and the Pacific. Each uses its unique strengths: Turkey's cultural ties, the Gulf's financial power, Australia's regional expertise, to become indispensable. These assertive strategies give African and Southeast Asian nations more options and tougher choices than ever before. The result? A crowded, competitive landscape where middle powers are no longer in anyone's shadow. China's global strategy is massive and multi-pronged. Through the Belt and Road Initiative, it's building infrastructure, airports, railways, ports, at a speed the West can't match. Beyond construction, China offers military hardware, joint drills, and officer training, focusing on political goodwill over deep integration. It's no strings-attached diplomacy, no lectures on human rights or governance, appeals to leaders wary of Western conditions. This approach lets countries modernize without political reform, making China an attractive partner. China's package, investment, security ties, and non-interference creates a network of states tied to Beijing's interests. It's not just building roads, it's building relationships and offering a new vision for global order. For many, China's offer is increasingly hard to refuse. Picture this: you're at the helm of an African nation facing a critical decision. Your country urgently needs a new port to boost trade, create jobs, and connect to the world. The stakes are high, and the future of your economy could depend on what you choose next. Enter China, offering to build the port at lightning speed. They promise to handle everything: financing, construction, engineering, and even management, asking few questions and requiring little local involvement. Their teams arrive quickly, bringing expertise and resources, and the project seems to leap forward almost overnight. The terms of the deal are often opaque, with complex contracts and hidden costs, but the results are undeniably impressive. Gleaming cranes, bustling docks, and a port that transforms the coastline in record time. Meanwhile, Turkey steps in with a different offer. Their approach is slower and more transparent, emphasizing partnership. They prioritize hiring local workers, transferring technology, and investing in the community. Turkish supervisors work side by side with African teams, building skills and relationships for the long term. The Chinese deal is all about speed and scale, big projects, fast results. The Turkish model focuses on building trust, nurturing local industries, and ensuring that the benefits last for generations. But China's rapid approach comes with risks. There are growing concerns about mounting debt, loss of control over key assets, and the long-term impact on national sovereignty. Protests and debates erupt over who truly benefits from these deals. Turkey's more modest projects may take longer and seem less dramatic, but they can foster sustainable development, empower local businesses, and help build a skilled workforce for the future. For African leaders, the choice is anything but simple. Do you opt for fast transformation with significant risks, or invest in slower, deeper partnerships that promise resilience and self-reliance? These decisions highlight the real dilemmas facing developing countries today, balancing immediate needs with long-term goals, and weighing the influence of powerful foreign investors. Ultimately, the right answer depends on each nation's unique priorities, appetite for risk, and vision for the future. There's no one-size-fits-all solution. In this new era of global investment, every choice made today will shape the destiny of a nation for decades to come. In Southeast Asia, countries like the Philippines and Vietnam walk a tightrope between China and the U.S. They rely on China for trade but fear its maritime assertiveness. The U.S. remains the top security partner, offering military exercises and advanced technology. But getting too close to Washington risks Chinese economic retaliation. Enter middle powers. Australia conducts joint patrols. Japan supplies Coast Guard ships. India offers training. These partnerships are practical and less politically charged, helping nations defend sovereignty without choosing sides. The result is a multi-layered security strategy, balancing diplomacy, trade, and defense with multiple partners. Southeast Asian states weave complex webs of relationships to maximize autonomy and stability. They refuse to be pawns, aiming instead to be players in their own right. Diversifying partnerships is their best bet for navigating great power rivalry. Why is China so appealing? First, its economic power. China delivers infrastructure fast and affordably. This visible progress wins over both governments and citizens eager for development. Second, China's non-interference policy is a relief for leaders tired of Western conditions and lectures. It offers respect for sovereignty, especially valued by countries with histories of foreign intervention. Third, China provides accessible technology, 5G, solar panels, surveillance systems, often better suited and cheaper than Western options. Partnering with China can mean rapid digitalization and industrialization, despite risks of dependency. Finally, China's rise gives countries leverage. They can now play the U.S. and China against each other for better deals. Strategic autonomy is the new game, and China's presence has broken the West's monopoly on influence. For many, this is a golden opportunity to advance their own interests. But China's embrace comes with real risks. Debt-trap diplomacy is a major concern. Massive loans can lead to unsustainable debt and loss of control over key assets. Some Chinese projects cut corners on quality, harm the environment, and use imported labor, sparking local resentment. Economic dependence on China can make countries vulnerable to political pressure and retaliation. Over-reliance undermines strategic autonomy, trading one dependency for another. Chinese technology brings fears of espionage and data security threats. For middle powers, these risks threaten both independence and long-term stability. The challenge: benefit from China's rise without falling into its orbit. So, is China a reliable best friend for middle powers and rising nations? China delivers on promises: roads, power plants, loans, quickly and efficiently. But it's transactional, not a true ally. Its interests always come first. When interests align, the partnership works. When they don't, China uses its leverage. The risks, debt, dependency, loss of sovereignty, are real and lasting. A reliable partner builds your independence, not your reliance. The smartest strategy: pragmatism and diversification. Engage with China, but don't depend on it. Build a wide network of partners. In today's world, strength comes from flexibility, not exclusive allegiance. True power lies in the freedom to work with all the giants, not just one.